we still have a lot of work to do mentally for our community to try to get us in this idea of trying to build something from the ground up. Generational wealth is the goal here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Zesty Soul podcast. I have a very, very special guest on my show today, and she is Kimberly Waldropt. So Kimberly Waldropt is the founder of Terra-Tory, which is a coconut oil-free and cruelty-free skincare brand that is hyper-focused on eczema-prone sensitive skin. Welcome to the show, Kim.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. That was such a lovely intro. Thank you so much, babe.
Yes. So for those of you who are not familiar with Terra-Tory, Terra-Tory is a wonderful, wonderful skincare brand that you really need to check out. So Kim, I really want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and then just give a general introduction of Terra-Tory.
Hi, thank you so much. So I'm Kimberly Waldrop. I'm the CEO, curator, from top to bottom, maker, sourcer, everything, processor, packager, Instagrammer, person for Terra-Tory. And I've been doing it I've ran Terra-Tory for it's going on, I want to say this November will make it full 3 years.
Okay.
That Terra-Tory has been up and running. And so pretty much the brand is to give people a different outlook on skincare, especially in the natural world. I feel like there are a lot of brands that struggle with educating people about ingredients and really cultivating the true benefits of natural products and diet. I think in the skincare world, they kind of leave out diet, and also skincare is skin from head to toe. And I feel like a lot of these brands just focus on the face, and people like me, I don't really have too many face skin issues. I mean, I still have acne, but I mean, who doesn't nowadays?
Right.
But I also am an adult who deals with eczema. My little sister deals with eczema, and pretty much a lot of people in the Black community, white community, Indian community, everyone across the board deals with eczema. And I haven't really found a brand that talks about beauty, health, and targeting eczema. So that's really what Terra-Tory is.
Okay. Yeah. So what I love about your brand is that it focuses on eczema. For some reason, there's a lot of skincare brands that don't. So that's a really good point. So I'm really, really glad that that's something that you really focus on. So I'd love for you to briefly just talk about why you started Terra-Tory, as much as you're willing to share, but I'd love to know your inspiration behind it.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I always talk about this, and every time I am asked this question. I used to work in the garment industry. I was a lingerie designer for 6 years. I dabbled in, in a lot of I was in the city a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Long Island, and commuting back and forth to the city and just being in the city and then coming back home. And I'm always seeing a Dwayne Reed or a Walgreens or a CVS for my skincare needs, especially with eczema. Mm-hmm. And, just using Eucerin and Aveeno and blah, blah, blah. And also with the stress of working in the garment industry and being underpaid and trying to pay bills when you're working in a male-dominated industry, which is strangely enough, and being one of the very, very, very only, very, very little Black women in that industry, it's stressful as hell. It's stressful as hell. And, I didn't see, we had our beauty supply stores in my hometown, but they carried the same stuff that, whatever. So I realized that I was getting like some weird reactions on my skin, and I would get all sorts of, I would do so much research and I couldn't find ingredients that were fresh and that were unadulterated and untampered with, and everything that I saw just had like a laundry list of ingredients. So finally, I had a really bad breakout. I was stressed. I wasn't eating right. I was constantly eating fast food so that I can hurry up, get back to work, do what I have to do, get home. On my commute home, I eat pizza, get home, go to sleep, wake up, have bullshit breakfast, go to work. I was doing that every day, and my skin was not dealing well. So I went on a journey of being vegan and, working out, and it helped to a certain extent. And then I said, let me go get tested, see what my skin is really happening, what's really happening with my skin. And come to find out, I was allergic to coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
So I searched the market for things that didn't have coconut oil, and pretty much when you look in the back of most of, like, even Dove or Dial or even like the most basic soaps that are out on the market, when you look at it on the packaging, it says sodium cocoate and sodium palmate. And when you look at those words mean palm oil and coconut oil. And so when you've been using that processed coconut oil, processed palm oil that really didn't have any nourishing skin benefits, I was like, okay, bingo, that's what it was. So I've been making soap all my life, but I've been using coconut oil. So I came up with a formula that omitted it. And I came up with this formula for about like 2 years. I practiced it. I asked my friends to try it. I was using it, and I saw a huge benefit in it. And even before, I did a pop-up at Artisan Fleas, and a young lady came up to me. She was like, I also am allergic to coconut oil. And since then I was just like, no, this is it. This is the path that I'm going to go down. And because she said that to me, I said, nah, there's something here. If I can help her and I can help myself, why not turn this into a thing? So then, even though this really wasn't your question, then going into like working with different foods, diet, again, nutrition is such a huge part of my life. And there are a lot of untapped foods and gems that we just don't know about, that we consume on a daily basis. But I wanted to take ancestral foods that we've been eating since the beginning of time and implementing it into our daily skincare, just like sea moss. I mean, we've been consuming sea moss, and now sea moss has become such a powerful supplement in my life, in my grandmother's life, in her grandmother's life. And I said, you know what? We're putting masks, sea moss mask. Let me throw it in a soap, and that kind of like sparked the baby of putting superfoods like that in the soap, because they add so much benefits. And if you're eating it every single day, imagine the benefits of them on the outside of your skin.
Yeah. And that was like one of the main things that also attracted me. Once I really learned about your brand, that was like one of the main things that I would say intrigued me about like the coconut oil free aspect of Terra-Tory, because it was just interesting, because like, it's coconut oil, right? Like, why is coconut oil not, like, what? Coconut oil is bad?
Yeah, we've been told for almost like 5 years that coconut oil is like the holy grail. But no, well, the thing is, it's fresh coconut oil that's the holy grail, not the store-bought shit that you see sitting on shelves that are odorless.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things are processed, hydrogenated, and they serve no purpose. And if you see how they're made in, you know, giant facilities, you'd be disgusted and you would probably never touch it again. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the Caribbean and you grab a coconut from the tree, break it, grind it down, squeeze it, boil it down, and get you that oil, I guarantee you my body will not have a negative effect to it. It's the coconut oil that is processed in large amounts, sold in the US on shelves, that's the one that fucks me up.
Yeah. And that's what I like too, because I feel like I've learned so much, and I am assuming that like a lot of your consumers like learn so much about that. So I love the sort of educational aspect of your brand, because you're really helping people learn about the problems with this, because a lot of times people don't know why a lot of these healthy skincare products are really damaging their skin. So I really, really love that about Terra-Tory. So with all of that being said, you answered like a couple of questions that I had already. So how do you want Terra-Tory to make an impact, at least from the educational aspect? Because I know for me personally as a customer, I love it and I'm learning more and more as I go. But I would love from that point of view, in terms of educating people about coconut oil and these sorts of things, I would love to know like what kind of impact would you like to have or continue to have in the future with Terra-Tory, if that makes any sense. I know that was a little long-winded.
I want people to pay closer attention to the ingredients on the things that they're purchasing. Mm-hmm. And if you are going to buy something that is very complex, do yourself the favor and Google the ingredients, see what the toxicity level is, see if there's any carcinogens in there, see, you know, it might be harmless, but you'll never know, because the industry uses these long, you know, chemical words that the FDA does not keeps fucking approving. Not sure why, but you know, and yep. It's just, and watch what you eat. Yeah. Reading the labels on your skincare is just as important as reading the labels on your food. Mm-hmm. And also go get a test. See what you could probably fix a lot of problems by getting a simple dermatology test, because again, think about it. The health industry is not designed to help you or heal you. Right. It's not their responsibility to do that. It is your responsibility to take care of yourself. Yeah. So when people depend on medications to fix a problem, yeah, I get it. It's a quick fix. But topical steroids are expensive. Mm-hmm. And so when you go out and you get a topical steroid, you have to pay money, and you have to continue to spend that money to put on this topical steroid. And then this doctor or this dermatologist is just writing prescriptions for you every month. Now, what happens if you lose your job? What happens if you get a pay cut? What happens if COVID shuts everything down and you can't work for 3 months? Right. You can't get that topical steroid. What's going to happen is you're going to be on topical steroid withdrawal. And what's topical steroid withdrawal is your body is now reacting. Your body is kind of like, oh shit, where's that topical steroid? What's happening? What's going on? Why am I not getting that outside medicine to heal me? Right. And now your immune system is like, well, your immune system is now compromised, and so now you have topical steroid withdrawal, TSW, which is a terrible, terrible reaction where your entire body kind of just like scales over. and your skin is just dry and tight and painful and blistering and oozing and itchy.
Yeah.
And it's a disaster. And I see so many people go through it because, and even some people even choose to go through topical TSW, and they choose, but it's such a long journey to get out of that. It's a long and painful journey. And that is one of the reasons why I say, you know, eating right is so important, because that is the true medicine. Find out what you're allergic to, stay away from those things. Have a cleaner diet. Detox every now and then. You know, and also, if you think about it this way too, a lot of people that deal with eczema, we're constantly going out and buying the same products all the time for temporary fix, for temporary soothing.
Yeah.
But Terra-Tory I've been getting a lot of feedback on numerous skin conditions that I, you know, didn't even think was even possible for me healing certain people. Not saying that I'm healing people, but you know, like, you know, it's helping people from saying, wow, like this is actually helping. It's an all natural product. It's coconut oil free. There's sea moss, or, you know, oatmeal, or, you know, plantains, or, you know, stuff like that are nutrient dense, that are actually helping. So, you know, yeah. But all in all, I want Terra-Tory to remind people to try to stay on the healthy path. You know, we life is crazy. We get distracted. We get stressed. Things happen. Life happens. Sometimes we might pick up, you know, some junk food or eat really greasy foods for a week or whatever the case may be. And, you know, but as you know, I'm always going to be preaching, try to stay on track.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And listen to your body, you know, like listen to your body. What is your body telling you?
Talk about it.
You know, for sure, because juicing has been a game changer for me in handling my skin issues. Even with my acne, it's like a world's difference, because I used to eat like shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? So,
I hear you.
Yeah. That's the message that I want Terra-Tory to give out in the long run.
Okay. Well, it definitely comes through. I can at least speak for myself. Like when I use your soaps, I do not feel dry after getting out of the shower. And
I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah, and it's just like it's like the only soap that I can use, and I don't feel, and it's like my skin isn't just like crisping up because it's just been stripped of all of the nutrients.
Exactly.
You know, and it's also pretty therapeutic. The oils that you use, I love. I thought were you on a panel this year? And I think it was either that, or I think it was an Instagram post that you put up. But you were saying how taking the shower is like a part of your wellness regimen because of the smell, and it's just like therapy. I forgot where that was, but I'm like, oh, okay, this is what she's talking about. Like, yeah. It's great. It's great.
I, you know, showering is like that time when you're thinking about shit. Like, you got so many things going on in here when you take a shower. What? The bathroom is probably where we think the most. The toilet, when you're sitting on the toilet, my mind is racing.
Yeah.
When I'm in the shower, it's like you can't have your phone in front of you. So you're left there with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And this bar of soap, this cube of soap, and it, you know, you just feel like, it's just like, you just wash all the stress away. And I don't use fragrance oils because of that very reason. You cannot get true therapeutic, actual medicinal therapeutic benefits from fragrance oils. Yeah. In fact, in science, you cannot get the therapeutic benefits from a lavender fragrance oil. It's just, you just can't. You have to use an essential oil from the plant. And that's the whole point of it being all natural. I mean, I kid you not, I cannot stand when people claim that they're all natural and they use a fragrance oil. It's like, no, you're not all natural. You're about 98% natural.
Yeah.
That's one. And, you know, it's fragrance oils are a reason why I get yeast infections.
Talk about it.
So, you know, Bath and Body Works. Oh, forget about it.
Oh no, yeah, like
forget about it. Remember, like in high school when you wore like Love Spell like everywhere, and we wonder why our skin was just
the worst.
The worst. Girl, please, everybody did it, and I don't care. And you lying if you didn't. Lying if you didn't.
And it smelled amazing. Like we didn't know better.
We didn't know better. That's absorbed in your clothes. And then we wonder why our skin does weird shit, you know, years later. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to talk about these things. And that's another thing that I love about you and your brand as well. And it's just really important, especially for the Black community, I believe, because there's just so much that we still need to learn. And we need to learn about how these products impact us specifically. Because it's just like this whole list of all these problems and ailments that a lot of us have, and we don't know why, you know, because we think we're using all these great products. We think we're, you know what I'm saying? And it takes education, and it takes like, no, coconut oil is actually bad. Let me tell you why. Like, what? You know, these kind of like light bulb moments.
I'm not going to say coconut oil is bad.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stand corrected.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's bad.
Right.
Too much of anything is bad.
Okay.
That's the problem is that the soap industry, they use too much of it. Almost to the point where that's 90% of the product.
Okay.
And the science behind, well, no, I'm not even going to disclose that. That's way too much information. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that off record. But yeah, they use too much coconut oil, and using too much of anything isn't good.
Yeah. So have you like ran into any roadblocks as you began to build Terra-Tory? And I guess just to put it into, to kind of like narrow it down, as a Black woman starting a sustainable, eco-conscious, health-conscious brand within skincare, because it's definitely very saturated. So I would love to know, you know, as much as you're willing to share, what type of roadblocks do you feel you've like encountered that you feel may be beneficial for other entrepreneurs trying to start something similar that might be helpful for them?
The roadblocks, right? Well, this is my current roadblock. Well, no, I wouldn't even consider them roadblocks.
Okay.
But then again, I wouldn't consider them roadblocks, because I feel like something that blocks you can't get past. And I don't see myself as blocked. I see myself as, let me see how I can get over this or get around it.
Got it. Okay.
And there's a few.
Okay.
One, I think right now, given the climate that we're in, right now I am trying to find a Black-owned paper goods packaging company. Okay. And it is extremely difficult to find that, because unfortunately, a lot of Black people do not own many businesses, and we don't own many factories, and we don't own large establishments like that. So currently, and I am going to switch over very soon to a different company, but currently I am using Uline for my packaging. Okay. And I don't know if many people know this, but it's been around social media. So if you haven't heard that, Uline are Confederate Trump supporters.
Oh, word? I didn't even know. There's so many of them now.
I know, there's so right. And yeah, so they are Trump supporters. So every time I have to get boxes to package my orders, this like this pit, like this feeling of like just disgust every time I click submit order. Every time. And believe it or not, like 80% of my equipment is from Uline. So it's just like, it's like, fuck, you know, like, you know, so I realize that this is just showing me how at the starting line we are.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more packaging, Black packaging companies. I want to see more paper goods. I want to see more basic need things that are bought at a larger volume owned by Black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Another obstacle I want to say is, okay. My roadblock, well, this was a roadblock, but I actually overcame it.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out how I can still do everything by myself, because I am still a one-person show.
Okay.
And asking for help. Asking for help is hard for me, because I don't like asking people for anything. And right now I'm actually, I might be hiring one person. Okay. Which is exciting. Awesome. Thank you. Looking for a space. I am currently looking for a space to expand. I'm currently working in my basement, but my basement is so big that I really can just run everything down there for maybe another year or two. Okay. But I need another person, and I don't feel comfortable with bringing someone in my home, and that's why I space. So right now I'm in the process of, I could either grind this shit out by myself some more and probably get some family members to help me, because I just don't feel right about a stranger coming in, but understand. Or maybe like a close friend. But I'm not really in a rush to scale. This is another roadblock. It's a mental roadblock. Okay. Scaling is I love my company. I don't love it to the point where I'm afraid to scale, but I have no interest in giving partial ownership to anyone.
Oh, talk about it, please.
Yeah, this will be a Black woman owned 100% to the day I die. Yeah. So any type of funding that I get, it will again still strictly be 100% under my ownership. I've been bootstrapping everything myself from day one. I haven't received any grants. I haven't applied for any loans. I haven't done any of that. And I was actually able to get myself out of student loan debt with Terra-Tory. So it's tough. Took me almost 3 years, but it was all worth it, because I can do literally whatever I want, whenever I want. No, I don't have to answer to a goddamn person. And that was I think hiring someone, finding a Black owned, trying to keep everything Black owned. And I had a Zoom meeting with some lovely Black women who own businesses, and they said, they were like, sometimes you gotta just do what you gotta do to get where you need to get, and then try to work on building other, getting other people of color on board with you. And I do believe that. I do think that right now, me trying to move away from Uline, don't get me wrong, Uline shipping is on point. I could order something today and it will get here tomorrow. All right. Amazing. So when it comes to demands and everything, I'm just gonna have to do whatever I have to do for now. And when I get to the point where I could then, put in the extra research and say, let's look for this Black owned shipping company, or this Black owned paper goods company, or whatever the case may be. Right. Yeah. Those, I guess, were the two roadblocks.
Yes. Okay. No. So, and another thing I'm glad you brought up is thinking and not putting the pressure on yourself to scale. I think that's really important. I think from a sustainability perspective as well. For me personally, I have these other things that I'm doing, and I sort of have that same mentality around not feeling oh, I need to get venture capital, I need to get all this money, I need investors, and I'm just
right, exactly.
Right. You know, and when you think about ownership, especially as a Black woman, you know, we need to make sure we own all of it. Because like you were saying, we're still at the beginning, we have a lot of work to do. And owning 100% of everything is very, very important. And then like making sure that our supply chain, it has like, you know, Black owned companies embedded in it as well. So
Absolutely.
that's a really, really good point that you brought up. So, and which is something that I love. So, and I have like no doubt that you're gonna like just shoot out of the, like just shoot for the stars. Like you're gonna be very,
I
very.
hope so. I mean, it's hard at first because, you know, again, we still have a lot of work to do mentally for our community to try to get us in this idea of trying to build something from the ground up that's going to last for, you know, for generations. Generational wealth is the goal here.
What? Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
I'm not interested in, you know, you can tell when a brand is going to be temporary. You know, you can tell when a brand isn't going to be, they don't have a story. There's no real people behind it. No. You know, and it's a shame, but I hope to be that representation of someone who's going to keep the integrity going. Yeah. And keep that voice alive. And even again, once I'm dead and gone, I still want to make sure that all my employees are Black. That I'm creating jobs for Black homes. Yeah. You know, so on and so forth. And always speaking Black health and Black wellness and just Black everything, because and it's funny too, because like I was never like this in the beginning with my company. I was just like, Terra-Tory is for everybody. But it's like, it is for everybody, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna know that a Black woman owned this company, and that's that. You're gonna know that Dove and Johnson & Johnson are who they are and what they represent. Yeah. And Terra-Tory is owned by who she is and what she represents, and that's going, you know, that's what it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of those things are in terms of health and wellness in the community. That's our foundation, especially as entrepreneurs as well, you know, and it's like up to us as we learn. It's important for us to inform our community. And I think that's key. So in the spirit of wellness, I know for me and a lot of other people within the sustainability space, like we're aware of a lot of really big problems. It's a daunting topic. It's heavy. So I would love to know, like, how do you, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, but someone who is aware of a lot of these issues, especially specifically within skincare, how do you balance your well-being in dealing with all of this? And like, you know, how do you find that balance between like understanding and knowing all the problems and all the inequities, and how do you like basically take care of yourself through it all? Well, I live and breathe eating right. That's key. You being very, very, very strict about who, where, and how you spend your time. Is how I've kind of been keeping it together. I've canceled 4 other podcasts this week. Oh, wow. Wow. Right. So right. Thank you, Lord. Exactly. I had to cancel 4 podcasts this week because I couldn't really, when I was really thinking about it, I couldn't really connect. I couldn't connect with them because it just felt like they were just stripping me from my intellectual property. Okay. And with that said, that drains you. Podcasts are draining. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they are. You know what I'm talking about. So yes, being on my phone 24/7 is draining. Yeah. Creating content is draining. Yeah. So how I've been balancing that out, my phone is off. I make human contact and human connections with people, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Yeah. I meditate. meditation is
Yep.
so important. And it's funny because I used to listen to other, like back in the day, I would listen to podcasts of my like entrepreneur, like I would listen to entrepreneur podcasts and motherfuckers would meditate. And I'm just like, what is that?
I meditate before I record.
Yo, meditation is like, what is this? So I gave it a shot. Maybe like 3 months ago, and I literally do not know how I made it to the age of 31 without meditating. Till this day, my mind is still blown how I was able to manage life without it. Meditation is what calms the storm.
Yep.
It's what helps you focus on what I do is I focus on nothingness, because when I'm conscious, I'm always doing something. Yeah. I'm always thinking about something. Oh shit, I gotta do this. I gotta go get groceries. I gotta make body butter. I gotta do this. I gotta answer these emails. I gotta go to Brooklyn to drop off this PO. I gotta come back at this time. I gotta take my sister to work. You know what I'm saying? I gotta take my dog to the bed. I gotta
all the things.
There's so much going on, and on top of that, sleep. Meditation and sleep are my holy grails.
Yeah.
Like restorative sleep. You need to your body needs to be in a horizontal position for 8 hours so that your muscles and digestive system and organs can just take a fucking break for 8 hours so that you can rule the world the next day.
Yeah.
Meditation is kind of like your brain just needs to just stop. And you kind of just need your brain to just stop for a minute, focus on nothing, just keep it silent. Because outside of your head, again, there's so much noise, there's social media, there's so many emotions you got to deal with, there's so many relationships you got to keep intact. Girl, I know you just out of breath just hearing me say this. Like, you got, it's
a lot.
You got lunch dates. You got friends that are going through shit and they're in your ear telling you how depressed they are.
Yeah.
And it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
So that's how I've been managing things. Good. Meditation and lots of sleep. I will literally, and I also had to cut off some friends. I had to cut off some friends, some people that just were not.
Yeah. I can.
When you get to a level of self-love and self-respect to where it's, a lot of, and I like to say that there's like a spectrum of self-love. Like self-love is a spectrum. I used to be very, very low in the spectrum. Since Terra-Tory, it has grown to a very high spectrum to the point where I will literally cut off childhood friends because they were not serving me or they just couldn't accept me at the moment that I needed them to just accept me or just to understand me for just a moment. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? I'm good. This is just not. We'll come back at a different point in life. Just not right now. And it's okay. I had to cut out certain food. Like, that's just how I've been doing it. Sleep, keeping myself secluded, meditating at least 30 to 45 minutes a day. Yeah. And again, when you meditate, it didn't start off at 45 minutes. I had to meditate for 5 minutes a day. Yeah. Because so much was going on. I couldn't keep my attention for 5 minutes. So now being in a room by myself for 30 minutes isn't enough anymore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've been doing it. That's how I've been sleep and meditation. I fast every now and then because, it's okay to fast. Yeah. Fasting is excellent to restart the body. Yeah. But sleep and meditation.
Okay. No, so that's important as well. Like, I know for me, and it kind of really touched my heart to know that I'm just, first of all, thank you for spending your time with me on this podcast today. But I understand it because you have to set boundaries and you have to, when you talk about self-love, it's very, very important. I know for me, the meditation, I meditate before every episode, before I record, because of that. I want to make sure I'm grounded and making sure that I'm sitting in that place when I'm, and just kind of like grounding myself in like why I started the podcast, which is to amplify voices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the energy that I put out, I want to make sure it's a welcoming space, one, and then also make sure that it's a space where the guests can have, I just want your voice to be amplified. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like you're in a peaceful space. So thank you. And it makes me feel really, really good. It's something I'm really, really thankful for. And I'm a little emotional because it's just really, really important. And then, yes, like we've had a rapport before. Like, so I was just really excited to finally be able to let people know about Terra-Tory. And I'm glad that you're in alignment with that. Like we're in alignment, at least in that way, where we both take our time very seriously. And and I know for me, I respect your time. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of people don't respect our time, and the people that I've actually had to cancel on, I was like, honestly, I was so stressed that I just didn't want to like just show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I can't do that because I have to respect people's time. And just like how these people took out the time to reach out to me, tell me that they love Terra-Tory and they want to get me on, I need to let them know, like, look, there's a lot going on right now. So let's move everything to a different time when I'm in a better space. And I think that's better than just like, if it doesn't work out, it don't work out. But I at least want to still leave a good rapport with people because, why be rude?
Right. Exactly.
Why be rude? But
like no is a complete sentence. Like that's no, it's fine.
I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful that you were able to connect and appreciate the voice that is being amplified, and I'm thankful for this platform, and I'm so happy that we were able to connect again after 2 years.
I know.
Like after 2 years, like and we never forgot each other because our spirits are just
yeah. And then when we met, like I think before we started recording, I was just saying like, you were the first person that I manifested this podcast about. This is before I even started it, and so it's just good. It's like everything is like coming in full circle. So I'm just glad to be that platform now. And as I elevate and learn more, it just feeds my soul because amplifying voices, especially voices of people of color, specifically Black women and Black women entrepreneurs, it just feeds my soul. And I think that's important for any entrepreneur, right? Like to operate from that inner self. Like a mantra that I have for myself is, like moving from spirit, right? Really focusing on your inner purpose, your vision, your mission, whatever your life's work is, moving from spirit, right? So when you were talking about not forcing yourself or pressuring yourself to scale, that to me is moving from spirit. You are focused on your work, right? You're focused on Terra-Tory and what you want this product to be and what you want it to mean to people. And that's critical. So, and that's something that I really appreciate in other people when people talk about those real things, like, oh no, I'm not pressured. I mean, obviously you want to grow and scale, but it's just not, it's like you're not working from that, from that, in that mindset,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I because you could burn yourself out very quickly. And there's been times when I've even thought about getting VCs involved. And I got sick. I physically got sick from the idea because I've seen that culture and what it can do to certain businesses. And I just can't, I put too much work.
Yeah.
And it comes from such an intimate place that, I just can't, it's my life's work. So why would I want to hand that off to someone who has no clue where the even emotion of Terra-Tory even comes from? So scaling. Of course I want to scale.
Right.
Of course I want to make money, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly. Yeah.
It'll happen when the time is right.
Exactly. In due time.
There's no rush.
Yes.
Exactly. And honestly, not to say that I have a chip on my shoulder, but I don't have competition because no one.
Right.
Like, come on now. Like, girl, please.
I love it. No, you need to do that sometimes. Like, you need to often,
I mean, rappers do it all the time. You know how many rappers out there say that they're the best rapper alive? They're the best rapper alive? Are you kidding me? I'm the best soul maker alive, goddammit.
And it's just natural. You're just confident in your product. You know who you are. You know what your product is and what it means. And that you're speaking from confidence and solidarity and genuine. You're being genuine about your product. So you know what it is. So I totally hear you on that. So as we begin to close, I would love to know, are there any resources for entrepreneurs like yourself who are people of color who are trying to grow and or establish a skincare brand similar to yours with a specific purpose and niche? Are there any resources that you're willing to share, or any like tips or advice for people who are like trying to start a similar brand?
Honestly, and I was just talking to my friend about this, not really this particular thing, but resources in general. Reach out to people that are already in the business. I know it's hard to get in contact with people because I have about 10 emails of people asking me this very question. And I still do it for myself. And, even when it comes to international resources as well. But YouTube University.
Talk about it. Yes.
YouTube University. And test. The biggest mistake people make is that they don't test their products. Now, when I say test their products, I don't necessarily mean bring it to a lab and get it tested.
Right.
But that is also an option. But test it on friends and family. For soap makers specifically, and I have a few soap makers in my email. I don't recommend anyone starting a soap business unless they've been making soap for over 3 years.
Okay.
On a consistent basis. I would say 6 years, but I'll say 3 years. If you could make soap every month for 3 years, I would say then you can start a business because there are so many things that you can look up on, but you won't know until, one, you use the soap. And if you already have it on the market, you could be potentially harming someone.
Yeah.
So, and no one wants that. Other resources, I mean, honestly, everything is Googleable at this point. There's nothing that I can tell,
right.
Like everything that I acquired, I either Googled or my mom taught me, because my mom was the one who taught me how to make soap. But you can go on YouTube and learn how to make soap. You can learn how to make everything on YouTube. So now as far as another I would definitely say the more niche you are, the better, because I am in such a niche that no one is touching me right now. I am the only person in my lane. And that's where the success is coming from. There's riches in niches.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
There's riches in niches and money. Now, also, another resource. That's about it. That's all I got. I mean, besides the regular never give up and be passionate. We heard that already. Yeah,
Kind of tired of hearing those sort of cliche kind of.
Yeah. Like I would definitely say for soap makers, you got to be in the game you got to at least perfect a formula before you put it out on the market, because here's another tip. Never ever make a claim that your product will treat anything.
Oh, okay.
Because we are not doctors. I don't have a PhD. I cannot say that this is going to treat anything, because if you say that, there's an expectation, and when you don't fulfill that expectation, that's when your reputation goes down.
Yeah.
You always want to use things like it will aid in treatment, it will help treat, it will enhance treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never want to say that, because one, it's not my product is not approved by the FDA.
Right.
At all. So I can't claim that my soap will cure eczema, because there are medications out there that still cannot cure eczema. It's really just, it's a long journey kind of thing. So also, never give out your recipe. I don't know why people have been asking me about my recipe, and I'm just like,
my girl,
why on earth would you ask me that?
Right? Like, that's bold.
That's very bold.
Yeah.
And it's like, people, like, even on social media, people will unfollow me because I choose not to give out my recipe. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
Like, does Doug give you their recipe? Like, I don't see you asking Dial for their recipe, or Zest, or for their recipe. Like, no. But
audacity. Oh my God.
Yeah, but yeah, I've dealt with that a few times. Don't give out your recipe, y'all. That's your intellectual property. That is what sets you apart from everyone else. And, you know, you could be talking to somebody who has more money than you, and who has a bigger production run than you. And then before you know it, they're going to blow your ass out the water. Also, know who your demographic is. If you have a soap company and you are targeting a specific type of person, do that and just that. Everybody else will come, but you have to be so like Terra-Tory is like so niche and demographic, like down to the T, that it's almost like your brand has to be like, no, this is not for you, honey. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, no, you wouldn't, you know, because that's gonna make people be like, well, I want a part of that. Like, why, why, you know what I'm saying? You have to also make your product so exclusive that, but you know, that's my little gem. I'm gonna end it there on that. That's the gem. That's the gem.
Well, thank you for sharing those gems. And I always ask this for a lot of my guests, in the spirit of conscious consumerism, because that's something that I have been like focusing on personally. Is there a specific item or part of your lifestyle that you cherish? Like more specifically, like an item of either clothing or, you know, something that you love that you cherish?
I cherish nature. I cherish weed. I cherish things that come from the earth. Mother Nature heals us, and she can destroy us.
Yep.
So
talk about it.
So that's why Terra-Tory is plastic free. We, only use biodegradable items, packaging, so on, anything that is involved in Terra-Tory's production is either biodegradable, recyclable, and plastic free. And so Mother Nature is that element, that God that feeds me, heals me, and can take me away. That's what I cherish. I cherish nature.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's something that we all need to cherish a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
Yeah.
Especially city people like me. So
yeah. Especially, in Black communities, nature is not upkept. We don't keep up nature, our surroundings, greeneries, trees. We're not like taking care. We're not growing our own vegetation as much as we should be. You know what I'm saying? So, but gladly, it is changing. That is definitely, it is a conversation that's being had. People are out there doing it, shout outs to Dominique Drakeford.
Yes.
She's like one of those pinnacles that I always look up to when I need to be reminded of sustainability and where I came from. You know what I'm saying?
Right. She's doing such great work. Like,
yeah, I love her. And again, you know, there are so many people that I follow on Instagram that I, you know, before Terra-Tory even started, that I discovered were planting and farms and it's like, wow, I want to see more Black supermarkets. I mean, if we're farming, I want to see us. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're out there.
Yeah.
And I respect them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah.
I know there was when I was in Oakland, there was a Black owned like organic supermarket that I went to.
Wow.
Like, and it was like a landmark to me. I was like, I gotta go to this supermarket.
Oh, that's so cool. In Oakland, isn't there where Dominic is from?
Yes, she's from Oakland. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
cool.
It's definitely something that we want to see more of, and.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I might start looking up more of those because I think it's important. And I'm sure like somewhere in New York City, there probably is some. They're just, you know, not well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to close. So for the audience, I definitely want you guys to know. So my favorite bars are the Sea Moss bar and the Plantain Coffee Scrub bar. As to try it, it's so good. It's so good. I forgot, where was I? I think when it arrived at my house, my parents were over. I had my parents smell it. And like my mom stole the aloe detox. What is it? The aloe bar?
Yeah, aloe detox. Mm-hmm.
Aloe cube. My apologies. But yeah, she's like, okay, this is mine. I'm like, but it's mine though. But she's like, no, it's mine. You have 2 more. I'm like, okay, whatever. But they smell it.
I hear that too often. I kid you not.
Really?
Like, people tell me that their partners, their parents, their kids steal their shit, steal their soap all the time.
Yes, yeah, because it's really good. So yeah, Kim, just go ahead and let the audience know your website, even email where they can reach you, and your Instagram.
Awesome. So you can find me on Instagram at Terra-Tory, TERRA_TORY. My email is Terra-Tory Skincare @gmail, one word. And my email, Instagram, and my website is www.terra-tory.com.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first, everyone. So thank you so much, Kim, for being on my show and being on Sussy Soul. I'm so excited for all the new people who will discover Terra-Tory and hopefully convert into new customers, which I'm sure they will, because it's a really amazing product. It speaks for itself. And yeah, thank you for coming on, my dear.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun.